All right, welcome back. Out here on this nice 38-degree evening, doing a little bit of work on Storm out here in the garage. As you can see, she's seeing a little bit of red, and I'll tell you why she's seeing red. She had a little procedure done today. Got a new mod I'm getting ready to do to her, and we kind of had to do some prep work on her before we can do the mod. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So those of you that have the Sea to Sky, you normally have the Icon Highway 99 badging that sits right there. You can probably see the 3 pinholes that badge sits in. Well, I had to remove that badge so I can do this upgrade. And as you can see in this trim panel, you can probably see some of the imperfections. That's what we're going to take care of. I'm going to install the product on here, and then I'll do a video reveal and give you a review of that product, and maybe that'll give you an idea you can do to your Spyder if you're having issues with your trim panels. I know on the 2026 models, they've gone with a different vendor and it's supposed to be a better quality. But for those of us that don't have the 2026 models, well, we just have to figure out a way to do it. But in today's video, I'm going to talk about, do aftermarket lights work on a Spyder? And in the short answer, it's yes. And I'll tell you why it's yes. Because it's simply in the wiring harness. In the post that I did earlier this week, I said we would talk about how these wiring harnesses, how they affect how these mods work on a bike. That putting these lighting mods on our Spyder is easy. It's the wiring that's the hard part, and that's what we'll talk about in this video. So give me a few seconds to transition the camera. I'll cue the intro, and then I'll be All right, let's get to it. For those of you that are new to the channel, I'm Low Budget Spyder Rider. Also go by Kevin. For those of you that are family that have been with me on this journey since I started the channel, if you haven't already, if you like this type of content where we talk about Spyder tech as well as various things that are affecting the Spyder community, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join this Spyder family. This channel is powered by the feedback and comments that I get from all of you. That's where I get my ideas from. I generally film my videos midweek, so I try to look through the comments, especially after I post a video, to kind of see what some of your concerns or ideas are, and I try to tailor the next video after those comments or discussions. With that being said, let's jump right into this. As I told you in the opening of this video, the power of whether or not lighting mods are going to work on your Spyder is in the harness. And as you can see, I have broken that harness down into 4 pieces. Now, these 4 pieces, depending on where you get your lighting mods from, these 4 pieces are what you're generally going to get if you buy your lighting mods from Trick LED or you purchase your lighting mods from Sling Mods. Sling Mods sells a lot of product from Trick LED. As I told you in my earlier videos, I like buying things from Trick LED or Sling Mods website because you get very detailed instructions on not only how to break your bike down to install this, but also it shows you where the connections are made. So if you start having issues, you have an idea of where to go to try to troubleshoot the problem. Why is that important? Because in most cases, if you start having a problem, it's never going to be when your bike is sitting nice and comfortable in your garage like Stormy is right now. It's always going to be when you're out riding or when you're getting ready to take that ride that you've been looking forward to all week, or that long trip, and you go out and you go to cut your key on to your Spyder or whatever riding platform you have, and all of a sudden it doesn't start. Or you're riding, it's nighttime, and all of a sudden your lights stop working. It's important to know where to look. Now, this particular setup comes with any of the lighting that you may get for the high visibility mirror lighting, your running board lights, the fender lights, the front and rear A-arm lights. This is a type of wiring harness you're going to see from Sling Mods or Trick LED. This particular setup is what we call a plug and play setup. And although it's a couple of different pieces to it, what plug and play simply means, this setup is designed to work effectively with your factory setup. This particular harness right here is what you're going to use when you go to make your connection into your factory harness. And then I'll show you where you'll make that connection at as we progress in this video. Now, once you go in, this is what's going to give you your switched power. And as I told you in previous videos, switch power simply means this particular mod is going to have power when your bike is in the on position or accessory position or the engine is running. Once you shut your bike off, it will essentially shut power down to that particular mod so it does not run your battery down. You have a female in, which is the back part. This is a what we call a 3-plug connector. So you have 3 plugs inside. When you first open this up and you take it out the package, you want to look and make sure that those 3 plugs are flush and even, just like that. Because when you go to plug it in to your OEM harness on the bike, if those plugs are bent, the mod is not going to function properly, or it may cause you to get that dreaded VSS error on your screen. This is considered the male end of the plug. And again, this is a 3-plug harness because it's going to match up identically with where you're going to tap into your power source on the bike. When I say plug and play, you do not have to cut any wires to add this to your bike. Now you have 2 male ends because when you make the female connection, this is going to tap in. This is going to get its power from your fender light. And you're going to make your connection right under the front A-arm. So when you plug this in to its male counterpart on your bike, you're going to plug the female end of your fender light. You're going to plug it into this harness right here. This will restore power and functionality to the stock light that's on your bike. Now this splitter right here is what your mod is going to connect into. Now when we move to the next part of this plug right here, this is what gives us our connection to begin wiring in whatever lighting mod, whether it's the mirror lights, whether it's the running board lights or the A-arm lights. This is where we start setting up our infrastructure for that. Now, again, like I told you, this is a 3-prong plug. You're going to make your connection to this plug. And again, it's similar to the rear end of this stock plug, or this stock looking splitter, I should say. And you want to make sure that those 3 plugs are aligned properly. It doesn't matter which side you plug it into, because this is going to be plugged. If this is plugged into your stock side, you're only going to have this one plug open unless you have a 3 accessory splitter where you have 2 additional plugs once you use one. Now, when you plug this in, before you make your connection, you want to add a little bit of dielectric grease to the tip of that. And what dielectric grease will do, it will protect this connection. Anytime you have electrical connection points that are going to be exposed to the elements, you want to try to protect that as much as possible. For A, to protect it against water and the elements, and B, corrosion. Because those things can cause this to short out, and that's where your problems will start. Now, once you make that connection in, we move to this end of the part. This is where we get into those specialized connections, depending on the type of lighting mods that you will use. And on this end, you have 2 different type of female connectors. You have a 3-pin connector right here, and then you're going to have a 2-pin connector that's going to be on this end. Which connector you use is going to vary depending on the type of lighting mod that you get ready to connect. Now, in this case, where we're doing the high visibility mirror LED lights, you're gonna make that connection to this flasher module. This module basically talks to the CAN bus system on your bike and tells the system that the lighting mod or whatever mod you're getting ready to install belongs on the bike, and the bike should not interpret it as being something wrong and give you that dreaded error code, potentially sending your bike into limp mode depending on what it is. Now, when you look at this connection point on here, again, this is 3 pins. So when you look at this plug, there's only 1 pin that it can go into, and that's the 3-pin connector right here. So again, same thing. You're going to put dielectric grease on that end. You're going to make your connection, and you're going to plug it in. Now, when we get to the back end, this drops down to 1 plug. This is a male connector. It goes from 3 to 2. And simply on this, we have our red, which is our hot wire, and our black, which is our ground wire. And it's only 1 plug that this can go into, and that's going to be this. Now, what this is the almighty 4-way splitter plug. Once you make this connection and you have power, you can essentially plug in 4 aftermarket LED mods or whatever type of mods by using these 4 connectors for your power source. My recommendation simply is just because you have four, you don't necessarily want to overload your setup with four, because all four of these miles are going to be drawing power from one source. And like I pointed out, if your source is going to be that fender light on the right side of that bike, you're essentially adding four additional miles that were not there when this bike was shipped from the factory. These bikes are tuned very specifically when they come from the manufacturer. And we start doing things to tamper with that, it leads to potential, especially on your 2024 through your 2026 models. It can lead to you giving that BSS fault and essentially sending your bike into limp mode. Now, when we talk about aftermarket wiring harnesses, what you want to check for, and I'll use this one as an example. You want to check where your wires go into the connector, because as you can see on this one, when I checked this one, the ground wire was not connected. So if I went to connect this to a power source, and then this would be going to my mod, this will not work because the ground is loose. The workaround for something like this, since the other side of the plug that is properly secured to the pin connector, we can basically piggyback that ground to that ground, and we would essentially have a working connector. We'll talk more about that as we continue this video series. I'm not going to be able to give you all of this information in one video. It would make it way too long, so we're going to break this down into multiple videos and talk about it. Give me a few seconds. I'm going to put this setup back together, and then I'm going to show you where this will plug in on the bike, and then we'll wrap this video up. All right, so I have it put back together. Now, even before you have this put back together, what you want to check when you get these plugs, like I showed you in a previous video, you always want to look where the wires go into the connector. You want to just make sure that it's snug. You want to make sure that all of the wires are basically in the connector pins as they should be. If you see an issue, if you're comfortable fixing that issue, address it. In a case like this where we have a module, usually what I check, especially if this module is going to be near some type of water source, whether it be because it's going to be mounted somewhere close to the ground or mounted somewhere where it might get wet when I wash the bike, you want to make sure that where the wire goes inside these module housings, they have it sealed properly. In this case, it is no type of sealant in there. What I would recommend you do is go around the wiring, use some type of waterproof sealant, silicone-based sealant, whatever you can find at your local hardware auto parts store. You just want to put a dab around, just enough to seal any openings. Or you can use what I like to use as well is the heat shrink tape that I showed you when I showed you how I did my LED RGB light setup on my Spyder. You can use that too, where you can encase this in that heat shrink tape. You heat it up and it will basically shrink down and seal those connectors around that. Just little things you want to check before you install it. Those little checks will go a long way with you avoiding larger problems along the way. So I'm going to show you where this goes on the Spyder real quick. Now, I'll use the mirror light setup as my example. So generally, like I said, Sling Miles of Trick LED will give you a video that will show you how to do this. And you'll basically pop this off. You're going to mount your light onto the back of your mirror housing. You'll run the wire. It'll go right inside down. It'll drop down. And you'll basically fish it from under here. You'll run it under the A-arm pillar, and your connection for that harness, if I can get this camera down where you can see it, is going to be right there. It's going to be right here. And as you can see, I kind of have it kind of not necessarily balled up, but tucked away nice and neat with zip ties. You want to make sure that wherever you secure your SS wiring, that you zip tie it in a manner where it's away from moving parts, particularly when we get around the backside of our RT platform where our cooling fans are. You want to make sure that no wires are close to there, because if they get sucked in there, that could potentially be a problem down the road. Then I'll just use the example. As all of you know, I upgraded the audio system a little bit on this Spyder by adding a JBL Nano Sub and amp combo unit, just to show you when we talk about wire management. You always want to do wiring in a way to where it does not interfere with the functionality of whatever platform you're putting on. As I told you, I made this mounting rack for it by simply using, these are actually Christmas wreath hangers that I got from Michaels, and just converted them for this type of use. So this could be a floating mounting system. This right here is just the base adjustment knob that controls this sub. I don't really have to mess with that at all because the digital signal processor unit that's on this bike, since this amplifier is wired into the stock system, it manages all of that for me. So there's no need to bother that. As you can see how I did the wires, I ran it under the harness or under the mounting racks, no drilling. And I just came around. I had to remove this panel. This is zip tied. You can kind of see one of the zip ties that I use because it's wire management all the way up. If you make your wires not too loose, but just enough in case this thing slides around, it's not pulling the wires out of the pin connector. That's how you want to do installs. That's how you want to manage your wiring. You want to make sure it's out of the way. It doesn't interfere with any functionality on the bike. It's a neat, clean install. I'm going to wrap the video up at this point. Like I said, we're going to continue this talk in the preceding video where I'll show you what to do if any of these aftermarket lights that you put on your bike should break. How do we solve that problem? That's what we'll talk about in part 2 of this video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment. Always remember, live for the experience, and definitely enjoy the ride. Peace.